YouTube live. Never mind. We're live on YouTube officially. We're live on Instagram live. Hope everybody is doing well. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Can't wait to jump in today's lesson with you guys. We understood that last week we started with the introduction to what is systems, why are systems so important, as well as the different types of systems that we should be using in our everyday business. We also discussed and we also went over why it's so rare for us in blue collar field, why we don't use and why we don't have systems. And it's typically because, once again, as much as I love the construction industry, it teaches you how to work in the hard skill driven, hard skill focused. Except now when we're coming in as a contractor, we're recognizing there's so many bottlenecks. There's so many choke points that we're all running into. And as we traveled across the US, we got to see so many different individuals. We got to meet them personally on and off camera, got to see how their business is operating. And a lot of you guys, including myself, are running into the same problems. We're running into the same situations that we see throughout the field, and everybody, now that we're more connected than ever, yet we're still dealing with the same situation. We're still dealing with the same problems. And that comes down to how can we now start developing skills in the soft skill side of things, the office side of things, where we can now run more efficiently with our business. And that's just what brings us today's lesson. We know we talked about, once again, as the intro to what is systems, why are systems so important, the different types of systems, how you can have them. And then this week, we're going to go over on how to develop those systems for you guys. And like we mentioned last week, I have systems for every aspect of my business, every personal aspect of my life and business. I have a book for it, and I just jot down systems. I have systems for my workouts. I have systems for everything. So that's my health journal. This is my systems for how to develop systems for the school, how to train you guys when it comes to our Build Association. I also have systems on how to properly budget, how to teach different courses, how to public speak, systems for everything. So everything that we're going to be rehearsing together is literally written down in a book somewhere. And now we are now passing that over to you guys here in Build, in Energize Us on live. So once again, I have systems for every aspect of my life: health, business, my electrical contracting business, and then business for Energize Us EDU. Why is this so important? Why are systems so important? Is because no matter what position you're at in business, no matter what position you want to be at, the foundation that you need, just like what we talked about in the business blueprint, the foundation of your company has to be you. The foundation on your growth, on the scalability, on the efficiency side of your business, the foundation is your systems. You have to basically have a blueprint on how you tackle scenarios, how you tackle your work, how you tackle the growth with systems. We can't keep doing that cardboard stuff, writing stuff down on a piece of cardboard, or, hey, I got everything in my mind mentally. If you want to do that, awesome. If you want to grow your business, if you want to scale your business, if you want to sell your business, it all comes down to the book on your business. And I showed you yesterday my example. I have an 88-page, I think it's somewhere up there, but I'll have my personal electrical contracting business right now. My systems book is 88 pages and it's ever evolving. I have a systems book where it tells you from everything from my office staffs, how to train them, how to train the field guys, how to report jobs, how to close jobs, invoice, emails, you name it. There's a system for it. Call out schedule. I'm showing everything on my Instagram stories on my electrical energizing page, my electrical contracting page. So if you guys ever want to see an example, feel free there. Today in our class, we are now going to go over on how to develop systems. So not only do I have systems for my electrical contracting business, but now I have systems on how to develop systems at Energize Us EDU, so we can share that with you guys in Build. And if you guys are part of the Build Association, you guys already seen a lot of us are sharing our PDFs, our systems. I think Tim over here said truck roll, how to stock truck roll, how much quantity he keeps for his guys, as well as I gave you my systems on how to do the call out procedure, how do I handle all these things, because we all know as contractors, we start work 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. What happens? You wake up and someone calls out of work. And now what happens with you? You can't focus on the first task because you're scrambling on trying to move the schedule around. True or not, that has happened to you. Or if you're working with someone and they call out, now you're trying to move this guy because if your licensed guy banged out, where are you going to put your apprentice? You can't send him to the job. So now you have to move him somewhere else. This happens so frequently. So how do you handle a call out? Something so simple, yet nobody wants to put a system down for it. Yet when somebody calls out, it freaks you out and messes your whole morning up because now you have to move things. You might have to go onto the field, but we have to develop systems. And that's just one example. When it comes to efficiency, when it comes to scalability of your business, these systems are duplicatable to the point where you don't have to do it. You can now assign someone to do it. They take it and they can run with it now. So what are we doing here? So I appreciate you guys. We have a lot of people from Build joining. We have Floaters, we have Mape, we have so many of you guys. So appreciate you guys jumping in. But today we're going to be talking about how to develop systems. And just like everything else, once again, like I told Montoyada, pleasure, brother. Good to see everybody jumping on from Build. Once again, guys, I love systems to the point where I created a system on how to develop systems and teach system creation for you guys. So that's what today is about. We're going to go talk about the SOPs for standard operating procedures development framework. If you guys are a part of Build, I'm going to upload this PDF after tonight's live. So if you guys are taking notes, don't stress. This is going to be on our Build school account, so you guys don't have to worry. Once I send this to you guys, you can print it out. Today, we're just going to go over a recap. We're going to go over as a teaser for the ones who aren't yet a part of Build. If you want the full document, if you want the whole framework on how to develop systems for yourself and QCs, feel free to ask to join up with Build. Feel free to talk to so many of our other members who are a part of Build. See the type of feedback that you're getting. We're genuinely showing you a lot of documents, printable, that you guys can take for your own. But right now, today we're going on how to develop SOPs and QCs. If you guys are on YouTube, let me show you. It's just a little quick framework. Once again, if you guys are just joining on, all these documents that we're giving to you on how to develop your own systems are going to be accessible, printable on our Build Association. So if you guys join Build, you get all these frameworks, download. You can now upload it at your leisure, work on it at your own pace. I know there's a few members that I keep following up with them, and they're telling me that they're printing out all the documents and they're putting it up on their wall already. So once again, if you guys are looking to make your own systems, and remember, we already have members who are already applying it. If you guys were able to check out Tennessee Electrician's stories, this guy, you give him a PDF and he started running and made his own system for how he's going to make a sub panel. That is some beautiful things that we love to see, because guess what? As Cameron starts to grow and he now updates that SOP, because you saw all the red lines that he had on it. As he updates that SOP, now he hires a next foreman or a journeyman under him. And the guy's going to say, what's today's job? Oh, we're going to do a panel replacement. Here you go. Or go to, in his book, he opens it up and he said, go to chapter 10. And it's all there written out for him already. How amazing that's going to be. Now those systems is going to be teaching Cameron's work ethic, his company culture, and the way he likes to do it. It's going to show him how to pre-walk the job, how to get the material, how to do the job. Remember, the system doesn't tell you how to do every aspect of the job, but he has the ability to say, hey, I trust you to do it. Just make sure these things are checked off. If these things are checked off, push the job through all the way to close out, all the way to invoicing and scheduling inspections when needed. But if you guys are a part of Build, this is your framework. Remember, there's the Build logo. There's the Energize Us. So if you guys are a part of Build and you want a copy of this worksheet, feel free to send us a message. feel free to send anybody else who is a part of Build a message. We're going to read some of the comments because we have a few individuals jumping in. So Top Class Solar, I appreciate you. Yeah, mate. Leaders cultivate and nurture leaders. The heartbeat of leadership is structure and communication. Thank you so much, Michael. That means a lot. You're literally changing the culture. Ah, man, Michael, I don't deserve it. Appreciate you, brother. Just trying to follow you guys' lead. You guys been doing this way longer, and I'm just trying to follow suit. So I appreciate you guys. But we're going to jump into today's lesson. How are we going to develop those SOPs? Remember, we have 3 sheets we're going to go over quickly. If you guys want your own copy to this, feel free to send us a message. Feel free to jump on Build. We have all our PDFs that we're sharing, all printable, all downloadable for you guys as a member. But step 1, we're going to be talking about how to develop SOPs, and then how are we going to develop QCs. And do you guys remember the difference? The SOPs are standard operating procedures. So these operating procedures are basically going to tell you step by step what to do. The QC now, it's to verify that we followed the SOPs. So it's like a checklist. Did you do step 1? Check. Did you do step 2? Check. So SOPs, your SOPs are only as good as the one following the SOPs. Your SOPs are only as good as the QCs and the people following the QCs. So if I can, guys, give you my whole book on how I run my business. And guess what? If you don't find it interesting, if you don't find it with value, that book is just going to end up in the trash. I can give you the manual. I can give you the secret formula at Coca-Cola. I can give you how Burger King, McDonald's makes their food. And guess what? Most of the people are going to just bypass it because they don't see the value in this scenario. They don't see the value in what systems are because they are holding themselves back with a limited mindset. Remember, if you want to grow your business, if you want to expand into other companies, if you want to expand into other states, you need a process. You need a process and say, hey, this is how we handle business. This is how you're going to grow. And guess what? Let's say if you say, I want to just stay the mom and pop shop. That's absolutely fine. Instead of writing everything on cardboard, instead of still guessing everything, write up the SOPs. Now you can run more efficiently. So now the time you spend in the field is more efficient. The work you do is more efficient. That gives you more time back. So you can spend it with your family. You can spend it on your phone time. You can spend it on other career choices that you want to make. SOPs and systems belong to everybody. Anybody in business, anybody who wants to grow, anybody who wants to be more efficient. That is what it's all about. Just remembering, first call we had, we've been scaling. Oh, man, I'm so proud of you, brother. Keep growing, keep growing. I'm so proud of you, Top Class. Thank you for that. We have to learn a lot for this, for sure. We have a bigger plans next year. I'm so proud of you. I got to bounce, brother. Keep it up. Solid gold. Thank you so much, Michael. Can't wait to connect, brother, especially on that podcast. It's a pleasure. Question, what size circuit breaker is required for wire? So, Deshi RC, appreciate your comment, brother. We're sticking on the topic of SOPs today. We're sticking on the topic of systems. If you have a code-related question, feel free to reach out to anybody else if you have a question. Thank you so much for jumping in, though. Much appreciated. Top Class, we rebrand from Rangel Panel Cleaning, Top Class Solar. Awesome. I'm so proud of you, brother. Keep those systems going. Keep it replicatable. Just keep doing what you've been doing, okay? So I'm so proud of you guys. But for everybody who jumped on today's class, how do we, so we are going to begin with the first lesson. How do you create an SOP? So the SOP side of things, we most likely are going to break it down into 5 points. So the 5 points of an SOP, we want to first, number 1, define the purpose of the SOP. We're going to explain why the SOP exists. Just like what we're doing right now on Instagram, we're talking about why these systems are needed. We understand you want to grow. We understand we want to be more efficient. These are reasons why SOPs are needed. SOPs are also needed to ensure that our guys are doing something safe. The guys are doing something a specific way. We may be at a job that requires something specific, and they need to understand why. Because once again, remember what we talked about in the construction culture. The construction culture just says, hey, tell me what to do. Hey, how much do you charge? How much do you do this? Or you go into an inspector and he tells you, hey, change this, but it's not against code. Change it because I said so. The construction culture, once again, guys, remember, it's always tell you what to do. They don't teach you what to do. And that's the difference between leadership as well when it comes to business. And when it comes to schooling, your indicator of success is how much people understand what you're trying to do, how much they retain the information that you give them. Remember, we want to teach, we don't want to tell. So I can tell my guys, hey guys, we got to rough in this house. Okay, they can figure it out. But when issues happen, when materials low, when the guys forget a circuit, when whatever happens in the field now, and then I say, hey, why wasn't that caught? Oh no, we forgot. If you have your SOPs now, they won't forget. So as a business owner, it's another form of accountability. So when you're step one, defining the purpose of the SOP, now you are approaching your work with intent, with 100% vigor. Remember, whenever time you're going to do something, you want to make sure you give it 100%. So step one, define the purpose of the SOP. We want to explain why the SOP exists. Ensure consistent quality, safety, efficiency across all jobs, just like what we defined together. Clarify where and when the SOP is used. For example, remember what we mentioned. Some jobs require different things. Some require specific information. That's why we need to distinguish why these SOPs are being followed. Number two now. So we define the purpose of the SOP. Number two, break down the task or process. This is the boring part of systems. So many people don't want to work on systems because, once again, as a construction culture, so many of us were the ones who weren't good at school. We don't do good sitting down. We don't do good in the office. So we rather be in the field. We rather be proactive with our time. That's fine. But why do we have to sit down and break down these systems? One, if you are the CEO, if you are the founder, if you are the boss, if you are the owner of that company, nobody is going to push your company harder than you. You have the work ethic, you have the name, you have the reputation, you have all the liability. Everything that is tied to that business is because of you. And if you don't sit down, put into words, into a system, what type of company you want to run, you're leaving that open for interpretation for any of your guys. Your guy's going to show up late because they see that you don't follow up. The guys wear whatever type of clothes they want because they see that, hey, you're not going to enforce anything. The guys are over here stealing time, stealing this, stealing that, because they don't see a reputation. They don't see something that you have pride in. And guess what happens? They start fooling around, and then you as the owner get mad and say, you know what, you're fired. It's always an extreme. It's always telling, not teaching. Now, the boring part about business is sitting down, writing these SOPs, sitting down and writing out processes. Once again, we're not the type who like to sit down in an office. But if you want to be the few who want to exponentially grow your business, understand your business from A to Z, develop that company culture, you need to sit down and do the boring work. So when you break down the task or the process, you're listing steps sequentially, ensuring a simple and actionable action item. Include estimated timelines, required tools, and material. So it's everything. For example, you can have SOPs for everything, not just in the field. You can have SOPs for your office staff, how to create an email, how to send out an invoice, how to send out an estimate, how to schedule an inspection. There's so many different styles and different types of SOPs. It's not just one glove fits all. Every task you do should have its own SOP. We're going to give you an example on how to break down a task or a process. For example, here it is. 1, pre-installation checklist. 2, setup job site. 3, complete install. 4, test the equipment. QC. Step 5, clean up and close out. That's just one example of how to create an SOP. Another example is found in our book. So I wrote my first ebook, and in this book, we literally broke down examples of how to make an SOP. So even if you're not part of Build, even if you're not a part of the school, you can jump in and literally see how to create your own SOPs. So over here in my book, I literally write, for example, if you have a simple SOP for invoicing, it can be like this. 1, ensure job is completed. 2, generate the invoice within 24 hours of job completion. 3, send the invoice to the client via email, mail, text, and call. 4, follow up within 7 days if payment was not received. That is a system that I created for invoicing. And you guys may be at home thinking, that's obvious. Duh. I do that already. But it's not written down. It's not written down. So guess what? That means you still have to do the work. I guarantee you're the one sending the invoices. I guarantee you're the one staying at home at night while you can be spending some time and doing other things. You're at home sending out the invoices, trying to follow up on some invoices because we all said the same thing. I'm very surprised at how many other contractors are saying, I'm missing payment. I'm missing payment. And guess what? They're missing payment because you're not following up with the terms that you've written in your contract, because you're not following your own SOPs because you left it all mentally. And now you're not following up with the customer because you're so busy wanting to be in the field. So you don't have time during the day to follow up appropriately because these guys are working 8 to 4. So if you send them an email at 6 o'clock, they're not going to see it till the next day. You're in a downward spiral. But guess what? You hire an office manager, you have an assistant, and you say, boom, this is how you handle an invoice. While you get to stay in the field now, they can follow up on the calls. That is why systems are so important. That's just one example of how these systems are going to help you out. Perfect. We're going to jump into point 3 now. It's include a safety checklist. So especially with us in the skill trades, we understand there's some risks, there's some hazards when it comes to the tasks, the jobs that we're going to be doing, right? So we're jumping in. Step 3, tailor to OSHA NEC standards. Duh. That's the guys in the field. That, to me, I don't have it in my personal system, but for every individual, for every contractor, remember, each one of you guys are licensed, qualified to do the work that you're scheduled to do. And what's beautiful about what you guys do is your work, your expression of work is also your expression of art. The way that Illuminati and Rudy wires up their panels, that's them. That's their art. That's their signature. No one can do that, replicate that. They can if they want, but that's their freedom of expression. It's just like freedom of speech. So I don't like to have systems on how to do a work a specific way. We want to make sure it's governed by the NEC. We want to make sure it's governed by safety. But the way they do the work should be their own expression. So for me, I don't micromanage on, I want you to bend the wire here. That's not going to be on my systems. My systems are going to make sure they have everything that they need before and after. Of course, the install should be to standards, should be to safety, should be to NEC. So when it comes to those safety checklists, when it comes to your systems, if you want to tailor it, if you're very specific, if you're very keen on that aspect, you can definitely develop your own system with that in mind. And then you want to make sure that you train your team and then you document all of these SOPs. Because remember, just like Cameron, if you guys saw his stories, we will develop an SOP for our members. We will develop SOPs for your company. But as much as we want to give it to you, you have to refine this work. And we know as you grow, as every job varies and every job's different, you have to redline, just like some prints. You redline it, you tweak it up, and then you can now tailor it more towards you and your company culture. So with that being in mind, you're going to have to tailor it. You're going to have to adjust it. It's a never-ending book. My book right now for my entire company is 88 pages, and it took me 3 years to develop that thing. But we got it concise, straight down to the point on how to basically run and duplicate my business because we're working in other states. So whenever I have the foreman PM out there, I'm like, bang, this is how you run everything A to Z. So those are the steps on how to create a SOP, define the purpose, break down the task or process, include safety checklists, standards across jobs, training, and documentation. That is basically the purpose and how you create your own SOP. Once again, If you want a copy of this worksheet, feel free to jump on Build. Feel free to buy our ebook. All this information is readily accessible for you guys. But now that's SOPs. Let's jump into QCs. As we mentioned before, your SOPs are only as good as the individual following them. And if someone's going to follow them, they're going to follow it to the T, and they're going to follow the QCs, because the QCs is what's going to help you verify that everything in your SOPs was followed. A lot of the time, someone's last step in their SOP is go to the QC. And the last part of the QC is start again with the SOP step 1, because it's a constant verifying. And once again, we go back to the same individuals who may say, that is obvious, I already know that. But once again, while you may know this and you don't express that to your team, they don't understand the system. If you want to hire an office manager, they can't read your mind. If you have it written down, they can now do that job, and you can efficiently buy back your own time now. This is the point and the focus on putting this down on paper, because this is what's going to help you grow or refine your current state and become more efficient, guys. So we're going to jump into now how to develop your own QC, quality control systems. That's what's next. We're going to jump into quality control. We already did the first 5 steps on how to develop your SOPs. So for quality control, it's going to break down into 5 steps as well. So quality control, we're going to first establish QC goals. We're going to have guarantee that it's complying with NEC standards, just like what we mentioned before. What's governing the install, and deliver consistent quality to clients. Of course, we want to make sure that everything that we do is to liking, is to code, is to the standards that we want to now, have that pride in as a company, as a contractor. 2, now we're going to develop the quality control checklist, include measurable benchmarks for success. So this is documenting that, like in the SOPs where it said, hey, suggested add some time zones, how long each task is going to. This is where you now write all these steps down, and then you have your measurable check marks, your measurable milestones that you can now follow to make sure, hey, everything's running in operation. 3, assign roles. So if there's an assignment dictated for somebody to do, want to make sure that individual's handling the responsibility. Clear roles and responsibility goes a long way. Step 4, implement real-time feedback. When something is not done properly, when something isn't is overlooked or skipped, that's when issues are going to happen. So when you want real-time feedback, you want to be able to, hey, you spot something that wasn't a part of the list, a change order, something was just omitted, something was just skipped, all in all, redline it, update the QC, update the SOP to make sure now you follow that through and that you guys complete it. Also, there's different apps, a lot of individuals use for post-install. For example, we're with Salesforce, we're with some bigger time companies where we have to upload everything, timestamp these things, and do the geographical location of where the install was so they can look it up and all that crazy stuff. So we're working with individuals and contractors who require that for their installs. So we upload these documents real time, timestamp these things so that they can verify that the work is done. The same thing with individuals throughout the trades. We know there's Jobber, Company Cam, there's some House Call Pro. There's so many different programs out there that you guys can use to now help facilitate with the real-time feedback and implementing the full job closeout. And then you want to conduct periodic reviews. As we mentioned before, the QCs are only as strong as the individual following it. And just like what we mentioned with the SOPs, these things constantly get refined. They constantly get refined. They constantly get reworked. So we have to constantly make sure that these things are up to par. These things are growing. These things are sufficient and efficiently for you guys. So that is basically our lesson for today on how to develop your own SOPs, how to develop your QCs. And I'm so excited to share these with you guys. Once again, if this is your first time hearing about systems, we know some individuals are talking about systems today. But once again, it is completely different when you start putting it down onto paper, when you start seeing it for yourselves. What's so beautiful is all the big companies that so many people want to aspire to grow to, they're all running their business efficiently. They're all running it with systems, with QCs. So now when it comes to us, a lot of us are mom and pop shops, 10, 20 guys, we got to now make sure we are running our companies more efficient, because as we want to replicate, as we want to grow, as we want to start duplicating, buying back our time, we need this foundation so we can be able to handle those type of things. But all in all, thank you each and every one of you for jumping on today. It is truly amazing to have you guys jump on to understand how to develop, how to create your own SOPs as well as your QCs. As a final note, if you want a copy of this worksheet, feel free to join Build Association. This is all for our members. If you guys who are on the Build Association are on the live tonight, thank you guys for jumping in. We're going to upload this PDF into school in the next 5 minutes, just so you guys can now take your own notes, so you guys can start working on your assignments, start developing your own SOPs. We already did it with Tennessee Electrician. He has it on his story. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, feel free to head over to his page, check out his story. He already wrote his whole SOPs for how to do a sub panel installation. So all of this is for you guys. Appreciate you, each and every one of you. Remember, if you're not part of Build, you're not interested in that, that's something different. But if you're a book guy, I have my own ebook out where we also have written down how to develop your own SOPs. So either if you're part of Build or if you just want to read a book, just a one-time thing, feel free to ask away. Now, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to jump on. If you guys have any questions about business, if you guys have any questions or want to jump on live, feel free to send a request. Appreciate you guys. Hope we can grow with you guys. Hope we can continue to help you guys. Hopefully we can break down these lessons that are so difficult that individuals have to pay consultants for. Individuals have to pay for this mentoring on a high ticket level. Hopefully we can break that down with you guys. Once again, I've been working with individuals that have grown my business to a position I never thought was possible, only because they broke it down for me. And it costed me 2 years of homework, reading, and all this stuff to get it all broken down to and tailored for us in the blue collar field. So all of that is for you guys. Can't wait to share it with you guys. This week is going to be a short week. I was out in the field yesterday and today. Tomorrow, I'm going to check up on the guys. We have a little rain. So I'm going to do 2 job site visits tomorrow where we're going to look at the battery installations, the battery project. So today and yesterday, I showed you guys some temp removal jobs that our solar crew is working on. Tomorrow, we're going to go check up on the guys working on the battery installs now. So you guys are going to get to see our second crew. And then we have 2 other crews working on services. So all in all, we got our 4 crews kicking it, loving it. And then Wednesday night, I'm getting ready. Wifey and I are flying down to South Florida. So if you guys, anybody at South Florida, I know we have KRV that we're going to meet up with. We have a few individuals that we're going to have some lunch with. But we're meeting with Patrick Bet-David again. We're going to be with him on Thursday, Friday. We're going to go over our business plan for 2025. We're going to get some content together. Can't wait to share that with you guys. Once again, all of this is possible because of the skill trades. The skill trades gave us a position where, hey, it gave us a way of life that I never knew that was possible. I want to now share that with you guys because once again, like in my ebook, I hit the wall. I learned the hard way on what not to do. And not only did I learn and just want to talk about my experience, but then I went and got the help to understand what we had to do to change to make sure that never happens again. And now we're going to be meeting one of our closest mentors, one of our close friends at his new headquarters. We're going to be with Patrick Bet-David for the weekend. And now we're going to get more content, send it over to you guys, get to show you guys what happens behind the scenes. And I know PBD just opened up his new cigar lounge. So can't wait to get that content for you guys. We're going to have some fun. Once again, it's so nice to see that that there's individuals out there who have the same vision for you. They have the same vision mindset where if you want to grow, you're going to find people who want to grow. If you're going to want negativity, you're going to find people who have negativity and negative things to say. Stay focused. Stay in the pocket. Bob and weave that shit. You know, don't get caught up in the drama. Focus on your goals. Focus on why you're doing everything. Just like your SOPs. What's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of you being in business? Remember the primary focus. Stay in it. Stay focused on your goals. Keep working with it. Find people who are like-minded. Break bread with them. Grow closer with them. And just keep working on your goals. But I'm proud of each and every one of you. If you guys at any point found this of value, feel free to head over to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, comment on the video. This is also recorded on YouTube, so it's on Instagram, YouTube Live. So if you guys want to see this recording as a recap, feel free. Once again, if this is your first time, welcome. If you guys want to get a copy of this worksheet, feel free to join the Build Association. If you guys don't find that of any value, feel free to reach over to our ebook, which is all online. But I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Please be safe, each and every one of you. Have a good night, guys. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.